Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nerd Attempts to Save the World, Episode 6. I'm James, and this is Lila.
Hi, guys. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am lovely.
Excellent.
Thank you for dinner, by the way.
You're very, very welcome. My wife makes a very good, mean chicken and biscuits.
It was so delicious.
So, anyways, this is a kind of an interesting episode. Lila and I actually just met an hour ago.
Yes, we did.
And I got to tell you something. The first time I met you, okay, I thought about this long and hard. And if I was single and I did not have a wife anymore, I would go chasing after my wife. I love her. Sorry.
I don't blame you.
Sorry,
I just...
Yeah, no, I had to do it.
I get it.
Anyways, I want to thank everyone for joining us. We have a bunch to cover. We're going to talk about Harry Potter. We're going to talk about video games and something very specific to them. We're going to talk about board games. We're going to talk about all three things. Okay,
it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. It's going to be a tremendous amount of fun. I just got to make sure that the volume here goes all the way down. We are not going to have a loop tonight. We are not going to have a volume loop tonight.
No volume loop.
No volume loop.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay, well, we're good. It hasn't happened yet. It's not going to happen now. So anyways, one other thing is if you haven't gone to, if you're a fighting game fanatic and you like playing fighting games, you like going to the tournaments, I have some good news for you. There's a new site up. It's called Syracuse Sucker Punch. It's a really, really cool site. It'll tell you about all the events that are coming up in the Syracuse area. Syracuse Sucker Punch, just search for it. They have a tournament coming up for St. Patty's Day. All the details are on their page. It's a fun event. I've already shared it on my page. Awesome. If you're into it, check it out. Also, a lot of people have been asking me about this, and I'm just going to cover this right now. If I have a Nintendo Switch and I have the Legend of Zelda game on Friday, which is my goal, I will have first impressions, first thoughts next week. I'm gonna leave it there because I'm a little too excited. I'm a little too excited about this game coming out.
You don't want to veer off topic for too long.
No, I don't want to veer off topic, and now we're going to get on topic. So we're going to talk about, to start off, we're going to talk about board games. For those of you who have not experienced the joy, this is more than just the games you probably grew up with. Not Chutes and Ladders, not Monopoly. These are games where stores are completely based off of getting board games. You play board games.
I do. Me, my husband, my kids.
Okay. And you enjoy them.
I love board games.
You were telling me something interesting about your daughter, though, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yes. My daughter, she's so good, and she learns so fast.
Okay.
Playing any type of strategy game, and we play everything from kid games to more extensive board games, Settlers of Catan. She's very good. And when she beats you, which she will, because you don't think an 8-year-old's going to beat you. You think that you got it in the bag. We don't take it easy on her. And then she looks at you and she says, "Haha, I win.
10 points.
I got the longest road. And look at my settlements and my cities." And she rubs it in your face.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
so
you'll get there.
I was going to say, this is premonitions for the future?
Yes, it is. Get ready for it.
Yeah. No, I've really enjoyed that game. I got to the point where I was just playing it nonstop on my phone, on the computer, and I call it the gateway board game.
Yes, it is. It really is.
Because what you realize with that board game is that there are several other board games out there. I mean, case in point, one game that I'm very popular with, or like that I really like, is a game called Kingsburg. Okay. So I'll give you a kind of like a brief synopsis as what Kingsburg is. It's a board game where you get a certain amount of dice, and there's seasons where you roll the dice and you see how much resources you can get. Then you take those resources to build up your land, your plot, and also get ready for a horde to attack you and the other people in the game that are villagers.
Okay.
So you're trying to make your settlement the best and also protect yourself and the others, and you get points for doing all these different things. One of the reasons why I like it is I'm a dice board player where I throw the dice and I'm a lucky SOB. If there are dice involved, you're not going to win.
So if it was D&D, you would roll 20s.
Funny story. No, when it comes to D&D, I have horrible dice rolls. I'm the kind of person where I will creep up on against an orc, roll a crit, and I give it a back massage.
Or stab yourself.
Or I stab myself.
I get that. I get
that. So, what's another board game you've played?
One that I really like playing with the family, mainly because I really like that it's not about working against each other, it's about working with each other, is Pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be able to work as a group to beat the game. And then one of the main rules, if you've ever played Pandemic, the basis of it is there's diseases, there's the possibility of an outbreak, epidemics. You have to try to cure or eradicate the diseases before you have so many outbreaks or the intensity grows too far. And you have, usually we play with about 4 players where there's different characters and you all have superpowers is what we call them to help get rid of the diseases. And as you're playing and you're working together and you're eradicating it, it's great, but there are rules. You don't get to choose who you want your character to be. It's random. You just deal out cards and it's random. Yeah. If you cheat the game will destroy you.
Really?
The one time we tried cheating and picking the characters we wanted, we lost in 2 turns.
Ooh.
2.
That's almost impossible.
Terrible. And so just don't cheat the game. But it's one of my favorite games to play because we get to work together rather than against each other. Not that I'm not competitive.
Oh.
I will own you in a video in a video game, a board game, I will own you. But I like to work together.
I'm what I call the sleeper competitive. I sit there and I laugh and I smile and I'm like, oh, look at that. I might win the game. And, in my head I'm going, yes, I'm winning. But, on the outside I'm just like, oh, all right, guess I won. Yeah. But
I think another thing, have you played Cosmic Encounters?
I have not.
I've played it once.
Okay.
I don't even understand the game yet.
Okay.
It was so much fun. We played, and I got a poison character.
Okay.
And I can't even explain to you how to play. I just know that you have characters, and you're trying to go to each, and you have to try to get one of your ships on each settlement to win the game.
Okay.
And you're going to have to fight or make deals with the other characters. And the funny thing is no one wanted to attack me because if they landed on my settlement, they would die from my poison.
Wow.
It was amazing because I'm like, I just picked it out of completely clueless. I was like, oh, this sounds fun.
Oh yeah.
Best game ever. It was so much fun playing.
Yeah.
Mainly because I was winning.
Actually, we just got a comment about a game that was a Kickstarter game and then it got funded and it's a lot of fun, especially if you're a Walking Dead fan. It's called Zombicide.
Okay.
Now, Zombicide is another co-op game where you are trying to get a mission. And the mission could be something as simple as you need to get food, you need to get water, and you need to get supplies. And you have to get there before the zombies take over. Or you have to kill all the zombies. And it's a lot of fun because it's 30 or 40 different scenarios in one box with a bunch of different zombies and how you have to kill them. And each character has different attributes. One can wield a chainsaw, one can do a shotgun. It's really interesting. And so it is another co-op where you're trying to get across, over the board. I tried playing it once alone just to see what it was like, and I got destroyed. I got absolutely destroyed. You need people to play this game.
Is it similar to Last Night on Earth?
I haven't played that.
Oh, it's amazing.
Okay.
Same similar idea. Usually there's scenarios where the goal is don't, like, you have to kill a certain amount of zombies before time runs out, which I think it's like 13 hours or depending on the scenario. And all the characters have different attributes. Like, my favorite character, Father Joseph.
Okay.
There's a specific card that if he gets it, he is unstoppable. It's the faith card. It's amazing. But that's exactly what it is. Everyone strives to get the shotgun. Because who doesn't want a shotgun with zombies?
I would like... Actually, you want to know what? I do want a shotgun, but I also want a blunderbuss. I want like a shaved off baseball bat. Not Lucille, but a baseball bat. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Wood, right?
Yes. It has to be wood, and it has to be half-sized. It can't be a full size. I want to be able to have the mobility to swing it around, and I don't want it to get stuck in anything.
Yes.
I've thought long and hard about this. Or a katana. But again, like the katana, I don't think I'm not graceful enough.
I want a katana, but I am so short that they're taller than me. And, like, if it's sheathed, like, there's no way.
Yeah.
My arm reach, I can't get it unsheathed. So I'm dead before I even have a weapon available.
So a half-size baseball bat.
Exactly. It's just not my weapon.
There you go. Anyways, so everyone wants the shotgun. Yes, you want a shotgun for the zombie apocalypse.
But yeah, it's a very, very similar game sounding to what... Yeah. So what was it? Zombicide.
Yeah. That
actually sounds like a game that I want to try.
We own it. You can come over with your husband sometime. We'll have a great time. Okay. Another game that... I played this game, I want to say 10, 12 years ago the first time, and I still think about it because it's just a game that no matter how many times you play it, there's always a different strategy that can outlast the other ones. It's called Race to the Galaxy. It's a card game where the cards can be used for a bunch of different reasons, bunch of different things.
Okay.
They can be used as resources, like to pay for things if you flip them over. They can be used as planets. You can use them to settle a planet. So what ends up happening is like you're looking at your cards, and like let's say you have 7 cards in your hand. You go, okay, well, I'll get X amount of points if I put this planet down. Or I can use 3 resources and put this planet down. Or I can gain double resources this turn. You know, so it's all about figuring out what the best strategy for yours is, and you can get a card that changes everything on the next turn. So it's a lot of fun trying to figure out what is the best way for me to play my cards.
Okay.
Yeah, because the cards have 3 purposes. It's awesome.
Just so many purposes.
That's right. And I like that. It's a simplistic game. It comes in a box like this big, but inside that box are all the cards. And, you know, you shuffle up the cards, and one way you'll play it completely this way, and you think you got the game down, and then you play it the second time, and there's nothing like the strategy you played before. So,
that's awesome.
So, it's a game I think you can play over and over again and never have a full grasp, or
the same outcome.
Or the inside track. Like, you're not going to, you know, there are games I play where there's one person who always wins because they found the secret to the game, you know?
Yeah.
So, and no one likes playing with them.
No.
All right.
Just stop inviting them to game night.
That has happened. I'm in my mid-30s. I've lived through all the drama of the earlier years, and now I'm just like, no, these are the people I want to hang out with. These are the people I'm going to hang out with.
Yes. You have your group.
Yeah.
We have our group where we all get along. We all know each other's playing styles, and even though they differ, and we might not agree with them, they're compatible.
Yes.
And that's what matters.
They're compatible. And you want to know what? Their annoyances are just annoyances that you tolerate.
Exactly.
Or you're like, no, that's what I like.
Or you've grown fond of.
I've grown fond of the annoyances, and I don't think they're ever going to get old. We hope. You know?
Yeah.
But,
exactly.
Well, no, and it's funny, too, because I was a very social person, but the one thing I tell my wife, and, you know, I'm sure you have a very similar outlook, you know, you meet someone new and you're like, oh my God, this person is so cool. Oh, they're awesome. I like how their mind thinks, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to invest the time. You know, like, because I'm sorry, when you meet someone new, you have to date them. I don't care if it's just like platonic or something. You have to court them. And I'm like, I just...
You really do.
I just want to watch Netflix.
Like between work and home life, that's exactly it, is... man, I would really like to get to know that person. But do I want to give up my 3 hours after work before bedtime to them? Or do I want to be selfish?
I'm selfish.
I'm selfish.
Yeah. Then go you. There you go. Right
exactly.
There. All right. Anyways, so one of the games that I bought this year for Christmas for my wife, that's kind of leading into the next topic, is I bought her the new Harry Potter deck building game.
How is it?
We haven't played it yet. And the reason is because we want to play it with 2 other people, and we want to make sure that they're there for all 7 books. The game is a deck builder where you play as one of the 4 characters, and it goes through 7 different stages of the game. So, book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, book 5, book 6.
I have not played it.
Okay.
I have friends who have played it.
Yes.
And said it's amazing.
I'm really looking forward to it.
And hard.
Yes. I'm really looking forward to it. But when I was talking to Lila about it, we had talked about like how we're both gamers and we play board games, and I started thinking about Harry Potter, and there's no real new Harry Potter news coming out, but I am a Harry Potter fanatic. Okay, I absolutely love Harry Potter. You were telling me how much you've enjoyed the Harry Potter universe.
Yes.
Yes.
I was actually introduced to Harry Potter on maternity leave.
Okay.
Because I was on maternity leave with my first daughter when I read all of the Harry Potter books. And it was a great way to spend my 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, it really is.
Yeah.
And then I've read them several times since.
All right, so we'll start off easy. What is your favorite book?
Oh, goodness. I like Goblet of Fire.
Okay. I actually like the one right after it.
Okay.
The Half-Blood Prince.
Yes.
That was the one right after.
No.
That was
Order
the
of
sixth.
Phoenix.
Order of the Phoenix. No, it's the Half-Blood Prince is my favorite.
Okay.
Half-Blood Prince is my favorite. I really liked how you did not know how to feel about Severus Snape.
And you were saying that he's one of your favorite characters.
He is my favorite character. And you can call me a bandwagoner or whatever you want. Severus Snape is my favorite character. I relate to him. When I was in the 8th grade, my lisp was really bad. And you want to know what? I had a hard time talking to females that I liked too. I got over it, but, for the time.
It was hard.
Yeah, it was difficult. So I relate to him. He fell in love with someone, and he loved her his entire life, and would do anything to help her.
And got picked on for it.
By her eventual husband.
Yes.
And even after all that hurt and pain, he's still taking care of Harry Potter.
Exactly. In his own way.
But
he's still doing it.
Yeah. So, Chris, you can think Order of the Phoenix is the best. Go you. All right. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I'm going to have to say... Oh, that's a hard one.
Okay.
I'm going to have to say, actually, favorite movie is going to be Half-Blood Prince.
Okay.
Because you get... I like the mix of characters. Okay. I like you get to see them all, and you get to see them all together.
Yes.
You get to see, the Weasley twins. You get to meet Bill.
Yeah.
And you get to see, you just get to see them all, and you get to see them all come together because you never get to see that in the previous movies. They're all separate. There's the Hogwarts group.
Yeah.
Then they'll occasionally talk about Bill and Charlie, but never bring them all together. And then you have Lupin, who's there. And so it's a great movie.
No, I really enjoyed that movie, but actually this is where I would say Goblet of Fire.
Okay.
I really enjoyed Goblet of Fire. I thought that you had a lot of character development that happened in the movie. I think you saw them going from being just kids to actually learning, there's other feelings as we become teenagers, as well as there are adult situations that they can't be helped out of. They can be poked and prodded and led, but they eventually have to take care.
Deal with it.
They have to deal with it themselves, and no one can help them.
That is true. And I was just having a conversation with someone about how she didn't like the fact that Harry and Jenny ended up together. She said that it seemed forced.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't think that at all, because if you watch throughout the years, Jenny has always had a huge crush on Harry, and it's been obvious. And usually, in reality, the girls always get the crushes first, and it shows differently.
Yeah.
And then once they start hitting puberty and they start hitting those teenage years, you start noticing Harry go, oh, there's girls, and Jenny has nice skin, and it actually progresses the way it would in real life, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Well, no, I think the one thing that I have said for a long time, and I think J.K. Rowling really put like a stamp of her approval on it, is guys don't pick. Like if it's a hetero relationship between a female and a male, guys don't pick. That's just all there is to it. The girl picks. Yeah. He wanted Cho in the beginning, and Cho did not want him. Okay? Ginny wanted him. Harry ended up with Ginny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
It is true.
I truly believe that males can pursue and males can make themselves available, but in the end, they're not the ones with the decision here. Period.
I think you're right.
Okay, well, we're in agreement.
You
concur.
Yeah, really
okay.
Do.
Yeah. Now I'm going to ask the question, because you admitted something to me right before, and I think we might get a few people that are like, really? But who's a character you're not that fond of?
I don't like Harry Potter.
Let that sink in. You do not like Harry Potter, the chosen one.
It also might be from a mom perspective, too.
Okay.
I may be biased. Like, watching him, he's a meddly kid. Mm-hmm. Like, he gets into things that are none of his business.
Okay.
Like, not that it doesn't pertain to him, but he's a child. So, it really is none of his business.
Okay.
Let's start out with book 1, The Sorcerer's Stone. Sorcerer's Stone, he had no idea what it was. Mm-hmm. He was told that it was secret. It was none of his business. Before he even knew it had anything to do with he who should not be named.
Yeah.
Started looking into it. Mm-hmm. Started investigating Snape, thinking that he was going to steal it. And instead of going to an authority figure, he kept it to himself with Ron and Hermione, and ended up getting himself in trouble because of his meddling. And then it just gets worse and worse.
Okay. Keep going. I'm not going to...
It makes me come to the conclusion that because of his meddling, it's causing the majority of the issues that Voldemort has with him. If you think about it. I mean, there was the prophecy that they were going to be connected and only one could live. Mm-hmm. Only one could survive if, for the other to live. And you come to think of it, if he had made other choices, would that prophecy have come true?
That's a fate question.
But it makes you think of it, and after reading it, more than once, like the first time, you don't even think about things like that. You just read it, and you're like, "Oh, it's such a good story."
Yeah.
And then you read it again, or you watch the movies again, and you're like, "I don't like him. I feel like all of his problems were caused because of him."
Okay. All right, that's fair.
I mean, not that Voldemort doesn't have a big part to play in that.
No, but what I would say is, do you think that if Harry Potter had made different choices, do you think Neville Longbottom would have been the chosen one? Or do you think there would have not been a chosen one?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about that, how Neville could have been. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah, well, because I look at it I look at it from this point of view. I respect anyone who doesn't like the main character in the story. There are many books I've read where I do not like the main character. But I look at it from a series of events. Like I think, Chris, you said something about this. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that a lot of the things that might have happened to him in the books were predicated on, I think Dumbledore might have been setting him up. I think Dumbledore is an amazing character. He cared about Harry Potter, but he didn't care about him enough. I think he cared about him as the savior of mankind against Voldemort. Kind of served him up on a platter. Now, I'm not the Dumbledore fans out there. I'm just saying it. He was a pawn mover. He developed the kids. He made them smart. He made them intelligent. But he was moving the pawns around. So let's get some hate out there.
Well, was he moving the pawns, or was he knowing what was going on and trying to assist because he knew that it was going to happen?
Well, I'll give you an example. At the end of the first book, okay, with the Sorcerer's Stone, he ended up giving Harry, Ron, and Hermione for being completely unruly, not listening to the teachers, and going and taking all the teachers' challenges and going through them and destroying the Sorcerer's Stone. He let them win the House Cup.
Yes.
He changed it and gave Neville Longbottom the deciding points, where it wasn't going to be Slytherin anymore. From an educational point of view, don't you think that was haphazard? And it condoned their actions.
Yes, it did.
That's just my point. I mean,
yes, it did.
I think he. I look at Dumbledore as, like, when we were talking about least favorite characters. I like Dumbledore, but I don't love Dumbledore. So if I had to pick a character, I probably would pick him because he's what I would call the idealist. Like, you look in today's world and you find these people that say the world would work so perfectly if I do this. So if I get this person to do this, and I get this person to do this, and I get this person to do this, everything's going to be just fine. And I think he looked at it from the same way. I think he always knew Voldemort was going to come back, and I think he was preparing Harry from the minute he started at Hogwarts to the minute he ended. You have to take out Voldemort, and I know you're going to die.
But it doesn't.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
Does not matter.
I get that.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna put some real Harry Potter. I don't like the Quidditch world. Quidditch.
Yeah. Why is Quidditch a horrible sport? You said you were going to tell me this.
I don't like Quidditch because the game makes no sense. Okay. So look at people who play Quidditch in college. They've changed how the rules are so the game makes more sense. The game is all based on who's going to get the golden snitch. The golden snitch is 150 points. Every time they throw a quaffle through those rings, it's 10 points. So you're throwing the quaffle through those rings and you get 10 points. So they're going back and forth, and it's a heated game. And, one team is up 30 points and the other team gets the golden snitch. Everything they did for 2 hours meant nothing. Now, let's say one team's beating the other team easily, beating them by 120 points. The other team gets the golden snitch. They lose.
And it doesn't matter.
Does
they
not
lose.
matter. Biggest issue I have with Quidditch in its truest form. Now, college Quidditch, different story. I have a lot of respect and admiration for the athletics that they do there and the Quidditch World Cup and everything that goes on with that. I think they do an amazing job, and they've changed the rules. The Golden Snitch is only 30 points, and there are specific times it comes out, and there are extreme difficulties in trying to get the snitch. And sometimes you're trying to make sure the other team's not going to get the snitch, because if they do, they win immediately. So there's another aspect to it. So that makes it into a real sport. But how J.K. Rowling wrote it was just an instrument or a tool to instantly give Harry Potter school fame to go along with his celebrity fame. Just my opinion. So.
No, that is a good point, though.
Yeah.
As far as, like, the school fame.
Yeah.
Like, do you think the fame went to his head?
No, I don't think so. I think he was very grounded. I think he hated it. I think he hated all the fame. But I think it was just a way for him to stand out in the crowd, more so than just being the chosen one with the star on his head. So.
And now, because when Voldemort cursed him as a baby, putting some of his powers into him, do you think Harry would have been as powerful without that? Or as good of a wizard without that piece of Voldemort?
Great question. I think that... No. I think he learned Parseltongue because of it. When he could talk to snakes. I think that the wand he ended up with before it broke... Was because of him. And I also think that the Elder Wand chose him. Because not only was he a very strong... I hope he became an Auror. They never really said. He became a really strong good wizard, but he also had that element of bad and was still able to defeat the worst evil out there. But, I think that never really got answered by the epilogue in the final book. I think the epilogue and please, expound, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think the final book, they didn't really explain to him what kind of wizard he became, other than the fact that he raised 3 kids with Ginny, and they were going to Hogwarts. Yeah. So.
And I feel the same. I don't think he would have been... I think he would have been incredibly ordinary.
Yeah.
So that brings us back to the theory that could Neville have been the chosen one?
Correct.
I honestly think that if he would have chosen Neville's parents and Neville because Voldemort guessed.
Yeah.
The prophecy didn't say who or what child.
Yeah.
I think that the reason why the prophecy was made was because they knew what Voldemort was going to do.
Yeah.
And the only reason why the story took place was because of the curse.
Oh, I think so too. I don't disagree with you there. I think that if Voldemort had never gone into that house, could have been Neville, could have been someone else, but it ended up being Harry because of Voldemort's actions.
Yes.
Interesting. I didn't know we were going to get into Harry Potter theory, but I like it.
Me either.
No, it's what happens. But I do need to move on. Let me just make sure.
I understand.
Yep. So, the one thing we did want to talk about as well, and it's something that is something morally that I've wanted to talk about for some time. I actually have talked about it on other podcasts a couple of years ago when the whole Gamergate thing came out, was just blatant misogyny in video games, or the blatant disregard for female players or female video gamers that happens on an hourly, daily, minutely basis.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever experienced this?
Me personally, and
Okay.
I honestly, I have a great group of friends, and I tend to game with my group of friends, not with just online gamers. So I can honestly say that I've never experienced it in a negative way. I did used to play World of Warcraft, and it's really funny because people don't ever think that misogyny and a whole, they always think of it as a negative thing where it always negatively impacts you. But it doesn't always. Misogyny leads to sexism and stereotyping of women. And when I played World of Warcraft, I actually got better treatment than most men in my guild. Actually, because I was a woman, or I was a woman. They heard me on TeamSpeak and they're like, "Oh, it's a girl. Hi, how are you?" And it's really funny because we take advantage of that, which is wrong as well, but it's still a form of misogyny. It's they're treating me that way specifically because I'm a woman, not because I am a good game player, which I was. I was a great paladin healer, by the way. Just gonna throw that out there. As far as gaming now, I don't experience a lot of misogyny. I do know that it's out there. I've seen it.
Okay.
not directed at me.
Do you think it's on the rise, or do you think it's stagnant, or do you think we're actually having an effect on it?
I do think that there has been an effect on it.
Okay.
I don't think that when changes are being made that they're going to happen overnight. They're automatically going to be noticed. We're going to see small changes. We're going to see not a lot, but you see, like, even in a lot of independent games nowadays that are being released, you're not seeing as much of the misogyny or the sexism in the video games. Women aren't dressed as sexualized.
Yeah.
The characters are becoming more defined, rather than just, oh, save me, or you know, like the stereotypical, hey guys, and so, like, that's really great. What about you? Have you ever, not that you would experience it, but have you ever witnessed misogyny?
When I was younger, and a little bit more bullheaded, I actually would go after people who were being misogynistic, like, and just attack them. And I would see, like, it was normally younger males who had a need for attention, that were basically looking at it going, they're ruining this fantasy world that they believe is the real world. I don't think it's as prevalent. I agree with you on that. I really don't think it's as prevalent, but I still see it rearing its ugly head from time to time, and I kind of I don't have good feelings about it. I mean, like, just to give you an idea, what kind of prompted me to have this be one of the subjects was, then this is probably about 3 weeks ago, I read an article about a woman who wanted to try the VR headsets. Now, I have a VR headset. I absolutely think it's something you gotta try. It's fun. I think down the road it will actually be as big as IMAX or 3D, because, I mean, they even made a movie, Hardcore Harry, which was definitely designed for you to wear it on your VR headset. So I see that coming, and I think it's really good. But she was trying it for the first time. You know, so she's putting it on there, and she's in a VR world where there are other users. Now, I did it. I was attacked by dinosaurs. Darth Vader went running after me, and I went on a roller coaster. She actually went into a world where there were other users in the room with her. I don't know exactly what kind of game she was playing, but she wanted to play the game. Now, what ended up happening is, because this one guy saw that she was female, he ended up going and inappropriately touching her avatar. Now, the guy was not touching her. The guy was not talking to her. But the guy was basically saying, this avatar, I'm going to claim this, like, kind of in a caveman style. Yes. And just was not allowing her to have fun. And so she took the VR headset off and said, well, if this is what this is like, you know, I'm not going to do this anymore. And what I do see is, I see that someone like you, like you were saying, World of Warcraft, you understood the world, you understood everything that was going around, and because you had proven your might, everyone loved you even more because you had proven your might and you were female.
Yes.
I think the casual female gamer will have experiences like that and think the entire world is like that. And I would love to see less and less of that as the years to come, especially when my daughter and your daughters come of age.
Playing online terrifies me for my children.
Yeah.
I don't play online much. Yeah. I was saying that mainly because, like, I'm horrible at first-person shooters, and I feel like anytime there's a good or decent game to play online, it's always a first-person shooter, and then I'm, like, stuck in a corner blowing myself up with grenades.
Yeah.
But, like, Call of Duty, I've listened.
Yeah.
Like, on my husband's headset, like, I've listened to him while he's playing, and if there's a girl, oh, you suck.
Yeah.
Why are you even playing this game? And I'm being nice. Like, I'm not even touching what they will say to women. Mm-hmm. It goes to the same thing. I've seen Twitch channels.
Yeah.
Where, like, and I'm not being mean. I will see girls that they use the misogyny to their advantage, where they're not very good at video games, but they have a crap ton of followers. Not because of their video game playing, but because they're wearing low-cut shirts and makeup, and they're flirting with their commenters. And what's really sad is, yes, men, we really got to stop it. Women, we got to stop encouraging it. Because we always look at it from one side.
Very fair.
We do. We always look at it from one side. Mm-hmm. But there's always two parts to one story, and then there's the truth. Okay.
Well, let me ask you a question. I love that point of view, by the way. If you see someone that is doing what you're talking about, because there are cosplayers, video game players that are female that absolutely adore the attention. Okay?
Yes.
Do you think that they are perpetuating this false stereotype that younger men need to find women like that to be happy?
See,
I know it's a very loaded question.
It really is. Yeah. It really is, because I do feel like there are the stereotypes. There are the stereotypes. We label ourselves so often.
Yes.
And it's really sad, because then people are raised into believing those labels instead of removing them. You can't just be you. You have to be that label.
Yes.
And that leads us to, yes.
Okay.
We grow up seeing these cosplayers or these video game girls who act a certain way, and we're like, oh, that's cute. That's what I want. And then we get stuck on that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that you can't be like that. I'm not saying that you can't cosplay. You can't be cute. You are allowed to be who you want and what you want. You're allowed to like what you want. Mm-hmm. But there are lines that you don't cross.
Okay.
And those are the lines that we got to figure out. Like the guy following her around, touching her inappropriately in the virtual reality. That's absolutely unacceptable.
Yes.
However, a fantasy game where fantasy is fantasy. It's not real. Mm-hmm. It is a pretend. It's story. It's just like reading a book. I've read so many books that are misogyny. They're horrible and amazing all at the same time because they're fake. Mm-hmm. And what we got to realize is a video game with some poorly dressed woman and a horrible character because she's all damsel in distressy, it's fiction. Mm-hmm. And yes, I want to see more games without that, but it's okay if we have those because they're pretend.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like, I'm not encouraging the misogyny. It's
no. But what I think you're trying to say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what I think the basic gist of what you're getting at is you don't want to see misogynistic plots, stories, or characters so trivialized into non-existence.
Yes.
Okay, but you also want there to be dialogue in where gamers that might have crossed the line are re-educated into understanding that you can play these games, you can have your fun, but understand this is not the real world.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, because there is that fine line, and then that's when it gets harsh.
Yeah.
Like, that's when people are touching inappropriately.
Yeah.
And I've had it happen in World of Warcraft. People walk up and they're like, strip. Or they take their clothes off and start dancing on you.
Yeah.
And, like, what's the point in that? Mm-hmm. There is none.
No.
And then that's when they start doing it in real life.
Yeah.
And that's when it actually becomes, to me, I will snap you down. Like, I will crush you if you treat me poorly or what I view as unacceptable. Mm-hmm. I don't tolerate
I knew from 5 minutes after meeting you, don't mess with you.
Yeah. I'm 5 foot of intimidation.
Yeah. I am 6 foot fall. I am 6 foot of marshmallow. All right. Well, we've actually run out of time.
I know.
It goes fast, doesn't it?
It has gone so fast. It's been awesome.
Good. I'm glad.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much for coming on. Guys, thanks again for watching. We are going to be on again next week at 7 o'clock. For those of you who have been asking when my brother Mike was going to be on the show, he's actually going to be here next week. He is not a nerd, okay? So we have set up a very interesting show. We are going to be talking about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie coming out, because he had Power Rangers when he was growing up.
Power Rangers are awesome. I'm excited about that
Yes. Movie. Elizabeth Banks. Come on.
Like, who doesn't want
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to talk about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but the rest of the episode, we're going to talk about nerd culture versus pop culture.
Ooh, that's
Nerd culture versus
one.
pop culture. He is coming on here to try and school me, and he's going to lose. And I'm calling him out right on public live podcast.
Nice.
So everyone, thank you very much for watching. We'll be here again next week. Everyone, stay safe. If you're home drinking, continue drinking. If you're out drinking, drive safe.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks again, Lila.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Good night.